Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be going over what I spent in November, what I earned in November. So there's a few different ways that I made some extra income this month, and I'll be going through December's budget. I'd also like to apologise for the lack of videos over the last week or so. I had filmed my grocery shop, or I'd started to film it anyway, and I think I mentioned before I don't live in my birth town, hometown, whatever you want to call it, anymore. So I don't really know anyone when I go to the grocery store. And no one usually speaks to me in the grocery store. Well, anyway, happened to be filming and two people approached me. I didn't know them, but just chatted to me in the grocery store. So filming just did not go to plan. I may put a little clip in at the end of the video. I've also got a little bit of cash stuffing to do today, and we'll go through my trackers. Let's get started. So I am going to film this way. I'm just going to be reading out of my book before we'll go through my income first. So as you know, I have two jobs. My main job is an office job, and from that in November I earned £2,281.77. From my second job, so as you know, I work for a youth club in the evenings, usually a Monday night. I must have picked up a few extra shifts, but also I'm currently do the cleaning, so I usually do that on the weekend, ready for the week when the youth club starts back up again. And from that I earned £211.60. I did do a survey, and I think I mentioned in my last video that I was expecting to earn £105. Now, unfortunately, I just got in touch with them and they sort of said, no, that isn't the case. They only set us one task in the end, even though we had two phone calls with them, so they are only paying me £80. I did question it further because I felt that we were asked still to do quite a lot, but they said, no, that's what it is, and it's quite a big company. I don't think there's any arguing with them, unfortunately. I took my earnings from Top Cashback. So Top Cashback is like an app, or you can go onto a website if you don't want to use your phone, and you go on this Top Cashback site, you search the shop that you want to purchase through, and if you use their link they will send you cash back based on the amount that you purchase. So I did a few insurance purchases this year, so I think that's why I had quite a big amount, but that was £90.42. I have got another £95 pending, and that is because I have been looking at transferring my pension to another provider, a cheaper provider, one that doesn't cost as much. And I'll probably go into it in another video because I'm still in the process of doing it, but at the moment I've got £95 pending, and it says it takes 12 weeks to pay out, so that'll be nice to get after Christmas. As I mentioned in my last video, there was a payment from the housing association. They basically had been charging us for ground maintenance that we hadn't been getting, so they decided to pay me back £515.33, and that came in during November. I sold some items on Vinted, so at the time I had £8 which I took back. I've still got a balance on there, and a few purchases that people have made that are still to clear, but I'll put that into December's earnings. And then finally I took back my cash back from Everup, and that was £47.50. So I haven't actually added all this up. I love seeing these on the Cash Stuffers videos, and I did cave and I bought one in the Black Friday sale. So I'm just gonna add up. So in total I had in my bank account this month £3,234.62, and I went over my budget in my last video. So you know the transactions up until the 12th of November. So the transactions I'm about to go through are the transactions that I made after that. So on the 14th of November there was a healthy pet payment, so that's my vet my vets, so I pay an amount to them each month, and that covers I've got 2 cats. It covers them for their annual injections and their flea and worming treatments. That was £38.48. On the 17th of November, there was £10 that went into my money box accounts. That was into my pension and into my LISA. So when I've got my new pension set up, that will be slightly different in coming out of my budget. On the 17th of November, I spent £10.35 in Morrison's. On the 18th of November, I spent £4.70 in Sainsbury's. So I actually went into Sainsbury's because I have Sky TV, and on their app you can go onto like a section that's for VIP members. I mean, I think everyone that has a Sky product becomes a VIP member, and they do all sorts of offers, but they seem to be doing at the moment an offer where you get a free item from Sainsbury's each week, and it's different each week. I say different, I think they rotate a few things, but on this particular day it was a pizza, which is usually worth £5, so they were giving that to Sky customers for free. So I got that, and also I know I picked up eggs and milk, so that's why my bill came to £4.70 in there. And that was the first and only time so far that I've managed to get anything from the Sky offer with Sainsbury's. On the 18th of November, I had my Apple subscription of 99p come out. On the 19th of November, I paid £58.50 to my credit card. Also on the 19th of November, I put £30 into my emergency fund savings account. On the 20th of November, I put £470 into my savings account, so I'm thinking that I probably had the money from the housing association at this point. Also on the 20th of November, I put £27.30 into my petrol tank. On the 24th of November, I bought £130 worth of vouchers on EverUp, and that was split £100 to Aldi and £30 to Morrison's vouchers. I still actually have over £10 in Morrison's vouchers still to spend. On the 24th of November, I paid £124.50 off my credit card. On the 25th of November, my Amazon Prime for Paramount came out, and that was £4. 27th of November, I spent £12.27 on Amazon, and I know that was on a mouthwash and also this calculator. And finally, on the 28th of November, I paid £132 off my credit card. So that's that. So I'm probably just going to flip you around and we'll go over how much I saved, how much I spent, how much I saved, how much I spent in total, and how much I paid off my credit card. So we're on this page in my book. I've gone through everything. So in total, I saved £710 and put £40 into my pension and LISA, and paid off £442.22 off my credit card. My sinking funds are currently at, so I've put now in total £1,000 into my emergency fund. I've got £200 into my car fund, and my trading 212 account is currently at £780. And last month I spent a total of £3,426.32. For anyone that is not familiar, I do live with my partner, so he does pay towards the bills. I don't mention his income or what he pays towards the bills here. Everything that I've gone through has been my personal expenses, or it has been my own income, or bills that we pay for the house. I hope that makes sense. So up next, I'm going to be going through my December budget. So my mortgage is £436.51. I then also pay rent. So for those not familiar, I have a shared ownership property. I own 40% and the housing association owns 60%, so I have to pay a portion of rent to them, so that's £282.10. Council tax is £151. Electric is £130. That's on a direct debit. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but before we lived here, and before we moved from our last rental house, I still owned my flat with my ex-boyfriend, and I moved in with my now partner, and he had a really old house, and it had a meter, one that you top up. You literally had to go to a shop, and there was only like one shop in the whole of our town that allows you to top up, which is kind of crazy really. This is before prices went as high as they are, so I dread to think what it would be nowadays. It was during COVID, I remember, so we moved in together very quickly because of COVID really, because we worked together and I was still paying the bills for my other property. It was just it just made sense for us to live and get to work together. I mean, he was paying all of the bills himself, and I really wanted to help contribute with what little I had left after paying my own household bills. So I helped pay for the electricity, and I remember topping up £100. It didn't even last us a week. So I mean, paying £130 is nothing compared to that place. So the winter, like £400 a month, just didn't touch it with how the house was. It was a really old farmhouse, single glazed windows, old brick building. I think it had a sign, etched into it that said it was built in like the late 1800s, I think like 1890. It had like a coal shed attached to it. It was semi-detached. It was, I think at one stage it probably would have been all one big house. It was a 3-bedroom house. They'd made a bathroom out of what would have been part of like a coal shed. You walked through the kitchen into like a little utility room, and then through there you were in like a single skin bathroom. The mould, you just couldn't keep up with it. You'd clean it off one day, it'd be back the next. There was no point heating any of that. We had old fireplaces, God knows when they were swept. And yeah, £400 just on electric, and then we were also buying wood and coal for the fire. And we only had one working fireplace. There was a fireplace in the bedroom upstairs, but it wasn't, they'd carpeted the bedroom, so, and they'd carpeted in the fireplace. Even though it was still an open chimney, they'd put carpet in there, so you couldn't actually set a fire in the bedroom. And they had they had storage heaters. They were new. That was probably the only thing in the property that was new. Everything was they, after my partner gave notice on that house, they had to sell it because they couldn't actually rent it out because it didn't meet the grade, basically. There has to be like an efficiency rating. Well, as I've described, single glazed windows for a start wouldn't be very efficient. It did have new storage heaters, but it just wasn't sufficient for the house. So now paying £130, even though that does sometimes seem a lot, I do think back to those days and think, my God, imagine if we were living there now, what that bill would be now. Yeah, it went up for auction shortly after we left. Someone did get a bargain for it, and it will be lovely once it's had money spent on it, but it needed money spent on it. Anyway, sorry, I have gone way off on a tangent. Our garage. Oh, that house was beautiful. It had a lot of land, as you can imagine, being a farmhouse. And there was only a few other houses in the village, so we had one direct neighbour. Our other neighbours, you couldn't see them. You couldn't see their house. It was that far away. And yeah, lovely walks around there. It was nice, and I wish I'd had the money to buy that house to do it up, because once you'd done it, I mean, a lot of the houses in that area are worth money, big money. But I mean, you have to have money to throw at these things, don't you? And we didn't have that. Anyway, water bill. That was one thing it didn't have. You didn't have to pay a water bill because it came from a well that was attached to the farm. But then the neighbour next door to us actually worked for the farm, and he said that's why we used to buy bottled water, because he said it wasn't something he'd want to drink from. So that says a lot, doesn't it? Sorry, so Sky Digital £32.50, and then Sky TV. That's another thing that happened this week, or just gone actually. Sky rang me up out of the blue and said, "Oh, you're out of your contract, so your TV's not covered. Would you like to take out this insurance?" And it was like £9.99 a month. And they said, "Oh, but you know, you can have the first 3 months for free." And I said, to be honest, if a TV suddenly stops working, that I've paid, I mean, I was paying £75 a month for 2 years for it. I mean, it's gone down to £27. So what, I was really paying £48 a month for the telly over 2 years. So I'm just using my fancy calculator now. So what's that, over 24 months? So if a telly that cost me £1,152 broke after 2 years, you'd be kicking up a fuss, wouldn't you? And I said, "I'm not paying £9.99 for insurance." And he was like, "Yeah, but what if in 5 years down the line it doesn't work?" And I was like, "Well, if in 5 years down the line I've paid, what's that over? That's 60 months, isn't it? That's another £599 that I would have been." Have I done that right? Yeah, it's over 5 years. Yeah, so another £599. I'm nearly halfway there to buy another brand new one. It's better in my bank, isn't it, than theirs? I'm not paying £9.99 for some insurance, and also I've got home insurance. So the things that it was covering were things like damage, that, you know, accidental damage, which I'm already covered for under that. If the actual technology stops working, I'll just cancel it, because I'm not getting the service that I'm paying for. So I'd be within my rights to cancel the contract, wouldn't I? He said, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, exactly. I'd be so annoyed. I wouldn't want to continue with you if it suddenly started to go now." So yeah, he soon went off the phone. TV license. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things now that they try and get you for insurance that you just don't need. Or if you were able to put the money aside. I get like having the insurance up front initially, but if you can put some money aside for it, you're almost self-insuring. So car. So I'm going to put £100. I'm not sure how many trips I need to do in my car this month, but I think £100 safe. I know I've got my service, which is why I put the £200 away for the car. So I'm going to put 200. The garage has quoted me 170, but I know I'm also getting some work done to the handbrake, so I'm just going to put 200 just in case. And that is the car done. Food, so groceries. So I always put 400, even though I don't seem to be using that. Although it is December, and I think at the moment our plans are to stay home for Christmas. My other half still isn't sorted with a job. So he's currently in work. He is due to finish on the 19th of December, if not before, and hasn't got anything currently lined up, although we have been applying for some jobs for him, so fingers crossed for us. Eating out, so I know I've got my Christmas meal with work that I've already paid £10 towards, and I'm only having 2 courses. I could have had 3 courses, but I didn't fancy any of the starters, so I'm just having main and pudding. And I remember I've been there before for our Christmas meal, and it is lovely food, but I remember not being able to enjoy it as much because I was so full. And then, you know, when you feel so full, but you've obviously paid up front for a meal, so you want to finish it, but you know it's going to hurt your stomach. So yeah, I want to be able to sit and enjoy this. So I mean, that's going to be, I think it's £29 for 2 courses, and I've already paid £10, so you know, £19, and then whatever drink I get. But still haven't done anything with my mum for her birthday, and she suggested going out to a garden centre and having a meal out. You know, because all the garden centres, I don't know where you are, whether they're decorated nicely, but a few local to me have, like, they put on big Christmas displays and sell like ridiculously expensive Christmas decorations, but it's nice to look at. And the food at the garden centre is actually really nice, and it's something that my gran enjoys doing, so I know that we're due to do a trip there. And my other half, it's his gran's birthday and she's 95, I think, so I think we're going out for a meal for that, so I'm probably going to put a little bit more. I'll put 250, just in case. I mean, I hope not to have to spend all that, but we'll see. And then health. So I've got my life insurance, which is £27.74. I've got my gym. So I did use my credit and it was just under £10, so I'm not expecting it to be this, but my direct debit is £29.99. I'm not sure if I've got in time for this month coming, so it might be that January's payment is lower, but it might have a tenner off, basically, is what I'm saying. Then we've got Specsavers. I really need to do something with that. I either need to buy myself some glasses and make the most of this, or stop the contact lenses, or start I think in the new year I need to really look at my sinking funds, because I could probably do with one for glasses, and maybe I could go somewhere else, because I wear glasses quite often, like, and they're on your face all the time, so I think spending some money on glasses isn't a bad thing. And then, can you see up there? Just going to move you. Right, over to entertainment. So, O2, £9.80, and then mine is £37.49. And we've got Prime, £99, Spotify, £11.99, and Paramount, which is £4, and then Apple, which is 99p. And then we've got personal. So I've been thinking I might need, it's not a need, I want to buy myself some new straighteners. If I've got the money for it, I am going to buy myself some. So I have got the Dyson straighteners, the rechargeable ones, and I keep them on charge, and I've done everything that you should do with the battery, but they're not working. I mean, they're 5 years old, I want to say, or maybe 4 years old now. And my other half bought them for me from New Zealand. Not that he went to New Zealand. He'd bought me the Dyson Airwrap for Christmas prior, and he'd got it from QVC because my favourite colour is red, and he bought me the red Airwrap, and he thought I'd like the straighteners that matched, and the only place that did them were New Zealand. So it still has an original New Zealand plug on it, and I have to use an adapter to use them. I've been using them recently, and they heat up, and then you have like one swipe of the hair and then they shut themselves off again. So it's just, I can still use them, but not as they should be. And I have been looking at getting some GHDs because that's what I had before. I miss them. My gym has them, and I do like using them. And I saw that they had a Black Friday deal now, that £118. I have resisted so far. I'm hoping that I might get some Christmas money. So I'm putting that there because I'm hoping to buy them in December. But it is a real big question mark. I think that's it for personal. And then pets. So we've got the Healthy Pet. And that is £38.40. We've got the pet insurance, which is £10.39. And then pet food. I'll go for 50. And then I think that's it. Am I forgetting? Oh no, forgotten birthdays. I have got a birthday, not for me. So let me rephrase that. It's my best friend's birthday, and I have already arranged for a present for her. I think I haven't paid for it yet. I'll put 50 there. That should cover it. What I've bought her so far is £30. And I'm seeing her shortly after her birthday, so I said I'll take her out for a coffee, so hopefully that will cover it. Yeah, so I think that's it with that. We will now move on to my trackers and my cash stuffing. We'll do the debt payoff one first. So I did mention that I paid off another £400 or £440, but each one of these is £100. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's for the debt payoff. I've got one in here for emergency funds. So we're at £1,000 now. So that's 1,000. So it would do 2,500 in total. I don't know why I put £1,000 up there. I think that's still a good goal. I think in my last one I was going for £2,000, so I'll still continue with this tracker in the new year. So I won't clear it off yet. I should probably I might just change that goal. I need some perfume or something to change that. Yeah, we'll continue with this one in the new year, definitely. We have got some cash. So I had to buy some cleaning supplies for the youth club. So that's where the cash has come from, because I took it out of petty cash once I paid for it. That didn't feature in my spends, by the way, so I just didn't even mention it. So I have got £10 put into my cube. So we'll do that first. Hopefully you can see all that. Now I've got a lot going on my desk. There, and this is for a holiday in the future at some point. Then my change tin. Oh goodness, everything in front of me has just collapsed. Still haven't sorted out my shelves that I have made, but I will do that when I get some time. So I've got £5 in change. Let me just move you again. I've got £5 in change to put into Silver Saver. So 2, 4, 5. That will go in here. So in my next videos coming up, I've got another one on my current investments. Still not sure whether I'm going to be putting anything into my Trading 212 account this month, because it's Christmas and I've got my emergency fund. I really want to focus on getting my credit card paid down, and with my other half's not sure what his job situation is, not sure whether I'll be putting anything in this month, but I have got something to talk to you about on what I've done with my Trading 212 account. Trading 212 still have the offer on where they are offering a free share if you sign up. I will put a link in the description for that. Also, where my sinking fund is held in my Lloyds account, they're also still doing a referral where you get £50 if you sign up, so that might be a help towards any Christmas shopping, because I think they said they pay it within 7 days of sign up. So I thought I'd mention that. So yeah, that's what's coming up on my next few videos. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye.